Hey Ranger fans, this is Sam Rosen, and you're listening to 33rd and 7th, a New York Rangers podcast with Avery, Zaretsky, and Kevin Meiselman.
How's it going, Rangers Town? Kevin Meiselman here alongside Avery, Zaretsky, and thanks for tuning in to episode 9 of 33rd and 7th, a New York Rangers podcast. We have a very special interview to play for you guys today. One of the best guests you could possibly have on as it relates to New York Rangers hockey. We are very honored to have Sam Rosen on the show today. Sam, how you doing?
I'm doing well and good to be here.
Sam, I think I could speak for all Rangers fans when we say we owe a lot of our love for the Rangers to you. I mean, your enthusiasm throughout every game, we talked about it before, it just keeps us excited no matter if they're winning or losing. You keep everybody's spirits high about the team. So we wanted to get to the fan question. Mark Weissman, who's a diehard Rangers fan, asked, what are your fondest memories of being mentored and groomed by the late, great New York Rangers announcer Jim Gordon?
Oh, that's a wonderful question from Mark. Well, Jim Gordon, who is no longer with us, there is nobody more important to me in my career than Jim Gordon. When I was in college at City College of New York, I started working part-time at WINS in 1966, WINS Radio, which had just become an all-news station, and Jim was the morning drive time newsman. But when he finished up doing the news, he went and first he was doing Knicks basketball, and then he went on to be doing Rangers hockey. And he was the guy that helped me the most. He learned, well, we worked together. I helped him out in his preparation of newscasts. He listened to my tapes as they came along. He offered me suggestions. He hired me in 1970 when the Knicks won the NBA championship. Madison Square Garden set up a Knicks radio network. Marv Albert was doing the Knicks locally on WNBC Radio, 660, which is now WFAN, but Marv Albert was doing the local play-by-play, and they set up a network of about 30 to 40 stations outside of New York in Connecticut, New Jersey, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Jim Gordon did the play-by-play. A fellow named Joe Hassel was the color commentator, but helped to put together the network, and I was the statistician. Jim hired me to be his stats guy, and as the season evolved, the Knicks went on an 18-game winning streak. They put the network together, and as we went along with the games, Jim would give me the microphone at halftime. He'd say, "Here, they're your stats. You do the stats at halftime and at the end of the game." So that was part of my learning process. Later on, when he went to WNEW Radio and did Giants football and was the news director there, he hired me there. And in gaining entree to Madison Square Garden and MSG Network, he was the one that put in good word for me at MSG. So when he missed a month of time one season, I think it was 1978, he was in the hospital with back injury, back problem. I filled in for him on TV. So he was the biggest supporter I had. The toughest thing that I had to do was eventually to replace him as the Rangers play-by-play man. The people at MSG came to me in 1984, and they said, "We're going to make a change. We want you to be the play-by-play guy and replace Jim Gordon." And I said, "Boy, I've got a great deal of difficulty with that. This is the guy that's helped me the most in my career." They said, "Look, we're making a change. If it's not you, it'll be someone else." And when they put it that way, I said, "Well, I had to accept the job." It was a very difficult situation to have to replace Jim, but Jim continued on, as I mentioned, went on to WNEW, went on to do Giants football on radio. But that was one of the toughest things that I had to do, was to replace him as the TV play-by-play man for the Rangers in 1984.
And before we get to our next fan question, real quick about that, did you ever think this run would go on for so long, dating back to that point?
You know, you never think of that. You just, I knew this. I grew up loving the New York teams, the Yankees, the Giants, the Knicks, and the Rangers. Those were the core four, if you will. And I think you just go out and do the best thing that you possibly can and express your love. And I've been fortunate where there have been changeovers in owners down through the years, and they've liked what I've done. And, you know, as I said before, nobody's been more fortunate than me. But I've tried to repay that by showing the love that I have for the team and giving them the best that I possibly have.